Okay, so today is going to be basically the grand finale episode of my little Whizbang Gauntlet that I've been doing. So the whole last month I've been doing where I'm playing, basically I was making the joke last time, that's what I'll call them. The Boomer Whizbang, the older one, which is the one that lets you use like the standard deck recipes, and then the Zoomer Whizbang, which is the new one that really knows how to have fun and, kind of do these crazy zany decks that don't really even exist. And so we'll go until they both lose one more time. So basically what I've been doing every episode is, like, I'll try to see which one does better. So I'll play as one until it loses, and I play as the other one. But because of how short the episodes are, or because of how well sometimes Whizbang does in either of its forms, like, they're both pretty good generally. Although this one I've been confused about. I think it started working properly last time, but the times before that, it would work in such a way that it would give you like some super old deck that might have still been a standard deck recipe, but like with Vile Spine Slayer in there for Rogue, or with something weird that's not really meant to be like a recent standard deck. But the point is that, yeah, we'll go with one until we lose, and then we'll go to the next one. And kind of like every episode, I wanted to go between both, and kind of we can tally up at the end which one did better. But I ended up playing as this one a lot more just because I would start the episode with that, and then I might not get to the other one, so it was kind of unfair to the newer one. But basically this is the final phase, so like this is the final time we get to do it. In other words, we'll play until we lose as this one, then we play as that one, and then it's over. So this will be the final one, so we'll see who wins between these two, like who wins more games in a row. And obviously, I guess if it's a draw and they have the same amount, then we'd have to go again, because I want this final one to sort of have a sense of finality and really decide a winner, even though I'll have to tally up. And so we'll have to tally up and do it by percentage, like, because this one wouldn't have played as many games regardless of the record. And so whatever win percentage is better is the true victor between them. But it's okay if it goes into another episode, because again, these sometimes aren't that long, and generally these decks have been doing actually pretty good. The new Whizbang had some pretty fun ones in there. I especially like the Warlock one. That's like a 20 card deck in which you get to, you're trying to empty out your deck as quickly as possible, and you get some benefits from that. But yeah, we'll go. So they both have one life left. This will be the finale. Again, even if it continues into next episode, that's fine. We'll go as long as it takes. But then next month, we're going to be moving on to Shaman in my little class round robin, where I get to try, using some of my favorite decks or fun mechanics from the history of the game, which I've been doing. So there's that stupid Thirst Trap Ner'zhul, perfect chance to use it right when I'm going to be doing Shaman, which I probably will get it just for the memes, or because I like Ner'zhul so much, but that's not the Ner'zhul that I wanted. The one that I wanted is the one that's actually in the armor, like, as the proper Lich King, the real Lich King. Not this wannabe fucking Arthas that they kind of overwrote in the story into the main villain. Complete Battlegrounds. Yeah, I don't fucking do Battlegrounds, dude. I just never really liked the mode much. I mean, I know a lot of people do like it, but too much of like an auto battler type thing. Twilight's Hammer is making a mess of the tavern. Pair with a friend or go it alone. Pick the path that suits your playstyle. Complete quest. Okay, Trogal. What is this? Choose a path. I mean, it lets you see both of them. So that is Urel the Knight and Golem Curator. I mean, I don't even play this mode either. Or the one thing that was kind of sad is they got rid of the other mode, Duels, right? Which I kind of liked, but I never really played it too much either. Arcane Holy Spell, I don't really care about any of this. I don't think there's anything in the reward track this time that I wanted either. This looks kind of cool, I guess. Draw a minion, transform friendly minion copies of it. But no, I mean, we had some big hitters in the last, over the last 6 months to a year. You got Sargeras, you got fucking, both as a card and as an avatar, right? And then you also got, who was the other big one? There's one other really cool one that we got relatively recently. We got Sargeras and we got something else. But no, I'm dying for the Ner'zhul and the armor. And of course, a lot of my stuff is split between other shit, but like, where is it? Because we were doing that one account that was just meant to be, collect every Death Knight collectible or cosmetic, which is, what was the other cool one that we got recently? What could it have been? But I got like a lot of those 3D ones in the process of doing this too. So this not only lets me show off some of my favorite decks from the history of Hearthstone, like whatever gimmicky ones that aren't even that good, but like the anti-spell stuff, elusive, which finally got a keyword. but it also let me show off some of these stupid cosmetics that I was dumb enough to buy. Like when I was doing Hunter, I did Ranger Sylvanas. And when I was doing, like, we got Cthulhu and N'Zoth. I'm doing Warlock, so we do N'Zoth. I'm doing Druid, so we do Cthulhu. And I always object to... So we'll start with this one, and again, this is his final life. So let's see how far he can go. Yeah, with Cthulhu, it's like... You know, what makes him a druid? Just that he has to do with fucking bugs? Like, that's kind of stupid. But I get it. You have to assign a class to it. Or maybe you don't. I mean, maybe you could play as any... Well, you could play as any class, and he's just like a neutral hero that you can be as with anybody. Yeah, we'll do Shaman to fuck around with Evolve stuff, and to use the Thirst Trap Ner'zhul. That's literally what it is. Like, that's what a thirst trap is. Like, where you take a shirtless picture or something stupid like that. That's literally what they give me. One of the games and the franchise's most loyal fans, most dedicated lore masters and everything like this, is begging for the armor, which they even tease you with in the tutorial. The Death Knight tutorial thing that you have to do, it shows you kind of like talking to you, right, with the armor icon, but then it just combines you into the Lich King altogether. With the one that's like the frozen armor on the throne, right? Who's giving orders the whole Warcraft 3. That's the one that everybody would want. Not saying it should have been the default one either, but it should have just been one that you could get. And maybe eventually they'll add it, but no, instead we have to get this fucking one. Because I know there's an Ner'zhul you could use like in like Battlegrounds or something, but I think this is the first one that you can actually use in the game in any form. It would have to be either a Shaman or a Death Knight. That's even a debate. Like, would he be considered a Death Knight in the Frozen Throne? Like, obviously he is because he's the Lich King, but like, he's sort of just a disembodied suit of armor. So I mean, that doesn't disqualify though to say, oh well, then you can't make a hero portrait of him because there's all kind of weird shit as it is, right? It doesn't have to be like lore accurate or make perfect sense. Discover nature spell if you play it this turn. Discover another. That is a Shaman Warrior hybrid. Which I always like that mechanic of the hybrid cards, but it's just kind of... They never did really enough with it. Kind of, you know, as much as this game's accused of copying Magic the Gathering, right? It didn't even come close to doing that. Like, the way that there's so much synergy between the colors and everything like that. Even though it's technically... Okay, that proves it's a bot. That's incredible. I guess. And as if the gear card back isn't enough proof. Taunt, Elusive... Summon a copy of this. Okay, that's kind of cool, but it's also kind of shittily statted. In this day and age, that should be a 7-mana 7/7. Right, what is so special about it? That's fine. Yeah, why the fuck did you play Defile there? Even if you are a bot, I still have to question, you know. Yeah, we're almost at silver 10, too, so that's going to be... mean we're going to be much more likely to lose a game. But it's ironic when I'm going through all these sort of gimmick decks that I like with all these classes, right? That Whizbang ends up doing better than almost all of them because none of them are really good. They're just kind of things that I like. Even whatever flawed decks that Whizbang might give you are still better than that because they're at least more cohesive. They have some kind of rhyme or reason. Okay, that doesn't do anything for me. Discover nature spell. I may as well save that to try to get a little more value out of it. But yeah, this has been sort of a fun interlude. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but then I just wanted to try the new Whizbang, so I thought, why not turn it into a gauntlet with it? And that's kind of how I always say it, like, you know, the most fun card ever to use at the beginning of a new expansion is to, I mean, either it's a bot or just the worst player ever, both in terms of the cards they have and their plays that they're making. The point being that, you know, use Whizbang at the beginning of a new expansion so you can try all the new cards in the standard decks without having to actually make them. But then in before, oh, Vile Spine Slayer, and it gives you all this random shit that is just, you know, not really... It's not always super accurate with what it actually gives you to that, or it's not always super recent, I mean. Draw a Battlecry minion, costs 1 less. Maybe I should just have waited. It should have done that first. Get 2 1/1 chaotic tendrils, same fucking thing. Yeah, there are a lot of fun mechanics you could kind of fuck around with in terms of Shaman in particular. I don't know how much dust I'm going to have to be able to do that, though. No, it's a free-to-play. It's still a free-to-play thing that I never buy packs or anything like with money. But no, I'll waste like fucking another $25. In total, probably 100 plus between the Clownface Arthas one for Death Knight, the 3D model one, then Ranger Sylvanas, then Cthulhu, right, the eyeball. That one's pretty sick, though. That one I can't argue with. Even Sylvanas is kind of cool. Right, the old school Ranger one. Although she looks and sounds a little bit too much... Well, she sounds too much like her salty, kind of bitter self. Not saying she was, like, ever upbeat and happy, but, like, you know, she doesn't sound like the old one. 3 times. You can just do like this, I guess. Right, no matter what happens, that'll be fine. Whatever, this dude's a clown anyway, so we're gonna... Easy pickings. So this will go on as long as it takes, even if it's multiple episodes, even if it's like for the whole month of May, I don't really care, but Shaman is definitely our next one. So we'll go Shaman, then Paladin, then Mage. That'll kind of cap it off. Then we have Rogue as like a special one because we kind of skipped that. At the beginning, we were supposed to start with Rogue and Priest because those were like my 2 least played classes ever. And then Rogue will move on to maybe Death Knight and Demon Hunter after that. And with those 3, we might actually make a point to try to play something a little meta or current because whatever, like just we don't have any expectation with them otherwise. The only thing with Death Knight is I want to use the Headless Horseman guy just because it's the first hero card that Death Knights have gotten. And so that's kind of fun just because that was something I was kind of asking for. Now we just have to actually play something that's going to be of some value here. Deal 3. You really want me to fucking do Jade Idol, dude? Let's go with that. Okay, that'll be kind of fun to... Yeah, who needs Elusive Druid or Elusive Mage, even though I don't do those because they have so many minions in there, although Tyrantus is pretty badass. I've done it more just because you get to buff it, or like the AoE buffs of the Druid, which again, in this day and age are totally irrelevant. Just use Lorthamar. That's what I don't like about power creep, is it kind of... Whatever fun purpose some of these older cards might have had, even if they weren't good back then, they still... You know, even if you were to make bots, you should make them better, like... You know, just... Right, it doesn't mean that you have to make them shitty and have shitty decks. Have good AI but a bad deck, or have a good deck but bad AI, but like you can't have both. But like those sick mechanics in the raids and stuff, like you're doing Nax Ramus, even if the AI is bad, it's counteracted by the fact that they have these busted imaginary cards and hero powers, and so it sort of balances itself out. But some of that AI was laughably bad too. Like where they would never lose if they played it perfectly right, but they never do. Deal 10, deal 1. Let's just keep summoning these fucking things just because I like them. How would you possibly deal with this? But this is the worst way to do it because now you could use some AoE, potentially. But no, the standing on these is not exactly up to the modern standard here. Which I'm maybe assuming too much of this is modern, but whatever this Whizbang gives you can be all over the place, it seems like. But it was even kind of rubbing in my face that it was working correctly last time, because it even said, did you like this deck? Like, look in the deck recipes for it. And then, you know, that proves that it's obviously a current one. But no, I swear, the first couple weeks I was using this month even, it wasn't working properly because it was just giving me, like, super old school things that don't even make sense.
That's incredible.
You just simply can't do anything. He loses to a superior deck, but it wouldn't be one that's too hard to use because you could literally be using Whizbang yourself, so that's the whole one with the wild. Oh my god. Yeah, that's always an accomplishment, even in these gimmicky things that I do, to get to silver. Like a rite of passage. You get hard stuck at silver 10, like with the Iron Juggernaut thing. Maybe my favorite deck of all time. Just, you know, you flip it back with the Brewmasters and stuff. Yeah, let's see how far we can go with this. I wouldn't mind if we go on a big streak. right? But we at least have a lifeline timetable for what we're doing. Because throughout the month, I was just like, every episode we get 1 life, and I never got to use that innkeeper card that I had in my back pocket, basically. That, like, if we lose with both of them, then I'll play one deck that has that in there just to get a chance to try it. I still haven't played, like, Sargeras. We'll end up playing it in some other context like this, like in some card generation way, not by actually having the card in my hand and normally being able to play it. Increase the duration of auras in your hand deck and battlefield. I mean, maybe that's okay. Just like for the whole game then, I guess. Like that's just a permanent effect. Cardboard Golem.
I see you've brought guests.
Kind of like me, I'm king of the sandcastle. I'm like a fucking paper champion playing on a plastic board like when I play chess. Get snake oil. Yeah, how topical too. I haven't seen so many snake oil salesmen since the gold rush, or since you go to try to play chess and everybody thinks they have the perfect answer, and they're so like, you know, there is no perfect answer. Buy my special program, this and that. No, it's like, just play the game a lot and just study the game a lot. I don't know what that is. 1/1 ghoul with charge that dies at the end of the turn. Well, what good is that unless it's on my turn, though? Like, if they trade into it, then it's useless, right? Yeah, we see that one a little bit too much. Maybe other people are using Whizbang too. And the one thing I don't like about this Whizbang, other than the fact that you can't use it in standard either, even though, again, you're supposed to be using standard decks with it, which is kind of oxymoronic. Not that you shouldn't be able to use it in wild, you should be able to use it in both, but it should be an exception to the wild rule just because it's an old card. But it doesn't show you at the beginning that you're using it or your opponent's using it either, which it should. +1 attack and lifesteal. I don't know. I guess that's okay. Kind of like a very slow and unimpressive play there, but no, we're clearly gonna get clowned here because these silver 10s are fucking tryhards. There's also the end of the month, so again, effectively May is the shaman month with my intention, but I'll go as long as this takes to get through. I was almost thinking like that at the beginning of the month, or of doing this Whizbang thing, like, oh, I'll just go until I, you know, I'll give them both 1 life and I'll go until each one loses and then just be done with it. But that wouldn't have been enough, right? But with how good they sometimes perform, it almost might have been. That's what I did almost the previous time that I did Whizbang, although I still didn't. I said at the beginning of like December last year that I would do that, and then I lost like once, and then the rest of the month I didn't lose. So then we went to like maybe, you know, until New Year's to see like, can he survive until New Year's? And he almost did. But I mean, that's kind of aided by the fact that I don't really play that long, so saying that he lasted the whole month only means it's a couple sessions with a couple hours each.
Not on my watch.
Shuffle a copy of this in your deck permanently to double attack and health. Like, why even worry about it? Let's just let them deal with it for now. The amount of lifesteal I would have had so far is pretty good. It's just like it ends up being useless against the priest because they're not going to do anything to you anyway. Bless. That is kind of a fun card though. You can keep kind of slow pacing it where you just do it over and over. Almost a contrived card design though, where like it's too perfect for certain kind of things. Give a minion with divine shield +2/+3, fine. Do that too. See, I don't even care about killing it because if you can't deal with what I'm doing, then you're just screwed. So you can make it as strong as you want. And before inner fire, divine spirit, shit, 1 shot. Somehow. I haven't been this scared of a snake since, it's not even a fucking snake, but, it's a snake since the Titan Boa in Ark Survival Evolved. Those things do scare the shit out of me, though. The way they sneak up on you is kind of weird. They're so big, but they're also completely silent and just very sneaky. They're big and slow, but yet also stealth masters. Wow, is this actually like a good theme deck that he has, or is it just a gimmick, like kind of the sort of thing I would do? You hard commit to like one idea. Yeah, the number of copies that he makes is completely irrelevant to me. It's just, you know, we're doing a good amount of damage, so we just have to finish it off. How close is he to that? 2 out of 6. We'll just do that, but my hand is pretty shitty, so if you can keep healing or do something, I'd be pretty impressed. After friendly minion dies, again, this is all very cute, but it's not going to matter. You're playing like as if you're actually playing for fun or something. What does any of this do? Yeah. That Hydra card, though, is super fun. You know, we'd have to catch up and see which kind of other common decks and cards and mechanics would be fun over time. Because when I think about it, like, oh, each of these classes has something very specific that I like. You know, Renounced Darkness for Warlocks, Explore and Goro Zinazari for Warriors. You know, certain things like for Hunter, Karnas's Brood, or just Rexar overall as a card. For Shaman, I'm kind of just saying Evolve. Evolve is a fun mechanic, but like, what, just every Evolve-related card in the game, I guess, of which there'll be a lot more now than when I've ever played them in the past. Who else? Like Hunter, Karnas's Brood, and obviously, who do I keep forgetting in this whole thing? I had done Priest at the beginning, but with some meta random fucking deck. But then I don't have the patience to play it long enough to get anywhere with it anyway. So Priest, Warrior, Warlock, Rogue, Hunter, or not Rogue. Was supposed to be Rogue, but then I forgot. They vanished out of my whole round robin. So we did Warrior, Warlock, Priest, Hunter. That's 4. Right, so we haven't done Death Knight, Demon Hunter, Shaman, Paladin, Mage. We did Druid, of course, I'm forgetting. Was the most recent one, too. So for Druid, it was like sort of the anti-spell AoE buff thing, where I'm using like every elusive minion and buffing them up. And of course, something like Lorthamar makes that a lot better, but it also makes it so easy and so good that it makes everything else feel kind of like a waste. The one thing I was missing in that one was like Keleseth. Because I had this cute little way of like, oh, you know, I only have like 1 2-cost card, and it's like the Fairy Dragon. And so you would get that effect all the time from Keleseth, the +1/+1. If you're holding a dragon, give this +1/+1. Not really a big deal. Taunt. What is this? A fucking baby dragon deck? What am I, Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, give me Time Wizard. That's really gonna win me the game. Obscure references. I guess it's not that obscure, but it's very specific. But no, I love the way the Duel Links actually portrayed all the characters and everything. That's something that Master Duel and other Yu-Gi-Oh games definitely miss out on. What they really need to do after this game dies out is they gotta give us the Warcraft TCG revived in digital form, which they could even do in this client if they really wanted to. Just make it like a different game mode. You could even reuse some of the assets and some of the, you know, the sounds and whatnot. But what a great expansion, right? This game's about to die out. They've run out of expansion ideas. And then they come up with, oh, well, let's just recycle ideas from, as if they haven't already done that probably. I wouldn't know because I've never really played it. I had a couple of the cards even in real life, but I forgot even where and how and when I got them. Plus 1 less for each one. I mean, I probably just bought them. I don't know why I'm making it sound so mysterious, but 1 less for each 1-cost card you play this game. But like, why? Why is this a thing? What are all these 1-cost cards? Like, why are you... Why does it matter? Okay, there'll be some other kind of win condition to go along with this one. Right, like you play enough 1-cost cards and you just one-shot your opponent. Deal 1 damage to your opponent for every 1-cost card you played, right? Something stupid like that. Yeah, we're gonna actually get to legend with this because we're using deck recipes, and in my hands, that's enough to get you there because, you know, in before obligatory imp deck reference from Castle Nathria that I almost did that with, which clearly it was good enough to get there. That imp deck recipe from that expansion was objectively good enough to get to legend. In wild, and standard would probably be even easier because wild you face all these kind of broken interactions that you otherwise wouldn't see.
Water. Sweet, beautiful water.
I shouldn't probably even bother dealing with that, but this stupid ass 1/1 dragon, like why, or 1/2 dragon, what is the point of it? Like, this is all part of your plan that you're supposed to expect that that's going to survive for that long. Like, really? I don't get what we're really playing for, but this is the one Titan I've actually used before too in like a standard deck, just because when I was doing that priest deck I happened to have that in there. Yeah, the priest one didn't have much of a theme to it. Maybe for the rogue one I could do like, let me do every single stealth minion in the whole game to kind of suit with that idea, but I don't know how much good that would do me. You try to buff it up like crazy, but there's no reason to even hold these things back because it's like, you know, it's a case where why would you hold it back when you're just getting it for free every turn? But there's no guarantee that you would funnel cake. This seems like much ado about nothing. Like, you're doing so much, but it's just not good. Like, are you really gonna lose to these dinky 1/1 baby dragon clowns? Like, I want to see more of a win condition for this because I don't know what we're really still playing for. You could make a couple copies of these, but so what? You could play him, but I forget what his effects even are. Sometimes I don't have the patience to play priest either. Like, I'll just do stuff right away as soon as I get it. Non-Titan minion, summon a copy with +2/+2. Whoops. We could actually do that though.
Get your feet out.
But that was actually a horrible mistake because I shouldn't have. Choose 2 enemy minions, remove them from the game. Summon a random 6-cost minion, give a talent lifesteal. Not really that exciting. After friendly minion dies, gain death rattle. Gain its death rattle. Divine shield lifesteal, your healing is doubled. Duplicate your hand. Wait, what? Wait, oh, wait, what the fuck? Wait, I'm confused. What even happened there? Oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that. Wait, where did I get that from if... Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know how Titans work, because like I said, I've never even used them, although I've seen people use them, but... okay, you get that from that and then that. Okay. Too much power creep for me to handle. Like, it's just trying to give you too many fucking things. So, choose one, duplicate your hand, or summon copies of all other friendly minions. But that's so ironic that a Titan would give you another Titan, except it's not a Titan, but it's a Titan Keeper, or whatever the fuck they're called. Duplicate your hand or summon copies of all other friendly minions. So what if I just do summon a second one of these, which I don't know even entirely how that works. Use 2 enemy minions, remove them from the game. Oh, that's weird. It got rid of the arrow even that way. Whenever you shuffle a card in your deck, add a copy to your hand. Rightmost card, draw a card. After you summon a pirate, let's say you do that. Oh, you can do actually both of them together. Non-Titan minion. I don't even care about the... After friendly beast dies, discover a location from the future. This is Neptulon. Like, this is at least fun with the amount of variety of shit you're getting, but also just even in terms of the decks. This is like some sort of chess 960 thing that people are finally coming around to my way of thinking. The variants are better than standard chess. Like, you know, that imagine the variety that you get with this. Like, but you could do that. I'll host like my own Whizbang tournament. The winner wins $1 million because the point is, it would be completely fair in even its randomness because everybody's using Whizbang, so it's completely up to that, right? Certain matchups might be favorable, certain things might be good, but it doesn't matter because of the simple fact that I'm doing that just to BM. Actually, I'm not even paying attention. It wouldn't matter because you're going in at least with an equally random level playing field. But it's not guaranteed that you're both going to get the same Whizbang deck. And again, some are going to just be better or worse than others. Some are going to be, obviously, some of them are going to be like kind of rock, paper, scissors, just better matchups against certain ones. But that in itself would be fun, right? Just do a Whizbang versus Whizbang tournament. Or even I extrapolate and say, all these decks that I've used in this format are a good example of that. You know, you use a tournament in which everybody gets one of the following decks. One person gets Renounced Darkness, one person gets Exploring Goro, one person gets Zinazari, one person gets Whizbang Boomer, one person gets Whizbang Zoomer, and some of that stuff you would have to fill in, but it's like you're getting these pre-constructed decks basically. Larry, I'm on Dragon Tales. What is that classic line? I'm on DuckTales. What's your favorite luxury? Like a private jet. And then the guy says, Larry, I'm on DuckTales, to imply that he wouldn't be able to afford it. Obviously, but you wouldn't know that. Like, fucking, there's people who do TV shows that could afford a private jet. It's just... Your next choose one card or power has both effects combined. Draw one card. I mean, some of these cards I'm seeing for the first time, or at least I'm using a lot of them for the first time. Get 2 random dragons that cost 5 or less. Get 2 that cost more than 5. Of course, my favorite one ever, the Fairy Dragon. My favorite card ever, arguably, in the early game, just because it was one of the only ones that had that elusive effect. Long before they even considered what to fucking call it. They could have maybe called it Fae, because Fae means like sort of mystic and magical like that too. That's why Maya Fae is called that, right? Because she's a mystic, spirit medium. One sort of pun name that I don't mind. It's not really even a pun, but it's like sort of on the nose stuff, like just... They, you know, in stories calling a character what they are, like Detective Bookman of the fucking library cop, Detective Bookman. Okay, we can save this one for later. Here's one card. Draw one card, game 5, armor, blossoms in 1 turn. Your next choose... Okay, I've read that. The one that Freya name drops, right? ANR protect us, or whatever she says. That's one of my favorite things about WoW, was all the boss quotes and stuff. Like, they really did have a great sense of personality to them, where even if you didn't know who they are, even if they don't have any lore to them, like Prince Malchezaar, he's just randomly chilling in Karazhan. There's no real reason why he's there, or the final boss of it. Like, he's not an established lore character. And it's completely fucking random that he has Gorehowl too. But the one good thing with it is, oh shit, for some reason I thought I could do that. What do you call it? But no, he had such iconic lines that in itself is good. Right, just there's a lot of memorable voice acting and good lines that sort of tell a story. That's the kind of approach I would take to a game like Skyrim or something like that, where I would make sure you would have notable, or like Dark Souls is a perfect example. Dark Souls is a game with very little voice acting, dialogue, and what little it had was pretty bad. I would give every boss that you fight a couple quotes like that. Like, you're not just fighting Nito, but he's talking shit to you and saying these badass creepy lines, or, you know, whatever. He's got all these one-liners. The problem is that not only is the game very silent and just there's not a lot of dialogue and interaction, but even the bosses miss that opportunity. That's the way you could tell the story. He's talking shit to you. ANR, the Life Binder. After you're using an ability, summon a 5/5 Ancient with taunts. Deal 5 to an enemy minion. There's almost too much shit for me to really care about that way, though. Draw 2 cards. Yeah, I actually have some vague chance of maybe losing this. My position's not the greatest, but it doesn't seem like they have that much stuff either. Anything good. Your next choose one has both effects combined. Draw 2 cards, gain 10 armor. Yeah, and one of those kind of cards that just rewards you for doing nothing. Right, I just left it in my hand and just didn't play it. Actually, this is one of the worst hero powers to get for that too. Or even one of the ones that cucks you with the improved hero power. Like, right, like what were some of the worst ones? Like Warlock. It doesn't let you draw 2 cards. That might have actually been transformative. No, it lets you just fucking not lose health for it, right? Let's just work towards some sort of choose one thing. That's actually gonna be good, but I'm getting pretty fucking low actually. Maybe I should just do this, because why not? Although that's the worst possible thing you could do though, because yeah, you let him farm cards. We're trying to make this exciting. I'm throwing for Reyestraza. If your deck started with no duplicate, summon the Purified Dragon's Nest. For some of these, it should really tell you what it is that it's talking about, though. Like, what is the Purified Dragon's Nest? I don't know. Like, it should sometimes they'll show you like what it is that it's talking about, right? But yeah, for example, there it does, but this doesn't tell you anything. Kind of need like an AOE. If you cast spell, deal 4 enemies amongst all enemies. No way I'm gonna lose to this shitty deck, am I? He's not even doing anything. I better play the armor thing. Taunt, summon a copy of this for each dragon in your hand, but I can't even play it. Draw 2 dragon. I mean, it's nice that if we get to actually survive, we'll be in great shape. But the problem that I'm running into is the simple fact that I won't be able to do that. And the reason why is I won't last long enough to get to that point. Like, what is my best play now? Rush, Lifesteal, Taunt. That is pretty perfect. 1 less for each dragon you summon this game. This is actually a pretty fun deck. Like, it's got so much fucking variety of dragons and everything. Your deck started with no duplicates. I mean, if I knew what that was, I might consider, and I wouldn't cheat by Googling it. I consider everything cheating. Like, if I have a deck oh shit. If I have a deck tracker that's cheating, everything's cheating. Summon a copy of this for each dragon in your hand. That's actually insane though, isn't it? Because think about how many that would actually be. That seems almost busted. I'd like to do the lifesteal one, but this is actually tempting because you'll have so many of them to fall back on.
My hand is too full.
Unless I'm misunderstanding. Summon a copy of this for each dragon in your hand, of which you have a lot. I better not be misunderstanding how it works. What the fuck kind of cards are these, dude? Drag on and on and on. I've made that pun myself. How long can this Sarkhan deck drag on, like in Magic? Because, of course, he uses dragons, or at least I was using them in there, as would be his staple. I invented my own Exodia just in my head that if I play every Sarkhan, I should automatically win, but like, what a busted power creep bullshit kind of card. Yes, you have to build a deck with a lot of dragons in it, but like, that's really adequate reward for it. Like, oh, just by having dragons, like, that's so busted of an effect. It's stupid. Like, imagine that in Arena, but again, you're not going to have that many dragons, I guess, but it's still stupid. Give your minions +2/+4 in Taunt. I mean, they already have Taunt, but I kind of want to know what that thing is, but
After all I've done, the future will not be lost.
it is at the start of your turn, discover dragon cost 4 less. Okay, that's pretty good. We better just trade everything in, though. Right, we still have a decent amount of taunts. That is kind of a troll, too. Like, you'll hear this guy's voice line like a million times. They sort of overlap and interrupt each other. I like how they do that in this game. guy's putting up a pretty good fight, despite the fact that his deck seems like complete fucking garbage. Right? Like, I'm obviously probably not playing this exactly right, but a lot of what you get isn't defensive. It's just like, it's very, I don't know, slow-paced late game. I mean, what I just did there, yeah, I'm saying it's not defensive. Meanwhile, we're getting constant life steals, and we're also getting pawns that fill the whole fucking board. Like, imagine dealing with this again.
My hand is too full.
Here, let's just do that. Pretty good. We get to heal as well. I mean, this just shows you pure power creep. It's nothing to do with me playing well. It's nothing to do with me knowing what I'm doing. It's just your cards are just too good because it's a modern. This is actually the perfect way to show why I like this Whizbang, though, the Boomer Whizbang, because again, you're using something that could be a fun, cool standard deck, but you don't have to beat yourself to death over it and use it over and over a million times, or you don't have to waste all the dust to make it. Like, we saw it, it's cool. We get to see some of this power creep in new cards, but like, Whizbang is the essential card to try out and have if you're a new player. But then again, I wouldn't say that you should play standard decks anyway, but whatever, like, just to try, whatever. It's such a brilliant idea, isn't it? Like, every game should have a card like that. I mean, he's just dead. Where it just lets you play as one of the deck recipes for free at any given time. And every expansion, you could do it all over again. So that should almost be a tradition that I do, where every single one, I just start by playing Whizbang just to kind of see what's in it. But I'm kind of too lazy to do that, or I get caught. By the time I mean, I could just do it that one episode. Well, I'll see, but I just care so little about these expansions and the new cards and everything that I almost just don't even care.
The Lich King versus Valera.
Okay, Lich King, I don't think we've gotten Death Knight too many times here. Next time you excavate, resummon this. You know, like, why don't we keep the Titan? It's like keeping the hero cards from back in the day. Like, it's going to be so valuable and you're going to be wishing for it later that, and this is a total lore retcon bullshit. There is no fucking undead Titan. Like, the Primus, there's no such thing as that. Like, the Titans were very specifically laid out. Like, of course, ruined by retcon like everything else, but there's no such Titan like this that would fit for Death Knight. They're just trying not to leave anybody out. Like, you know. Even though they would do that all the time with hero cards. Like, one expansion, you get the Dr. Boom hero card as a warrior, and nobody else gets one. Then the next one, you get Hagatha, the witch, for shaman, and nobody else gets one. Like, so they kept rotating it like that and trolling people. Like, you know, that makes you feel like you're getting special treatment. It doesn't mean those were that good or that defining, but, you know, it's just more so the choice. And, of course, Warlocks had the original cuck job when it came to that because they got Draxes and nobody else got anything. Everything's fine with that. Deal 3 if it dies. Discover Frostbruin card. Plus 1 less for each plague shuffled in the enemy deck this game.
Glory! I'm here for the gold. Most intriguing.
Yeah, why does his voice sound like that? Because of the result. Say his name. Say his name. Fucking stupid ass game. May as well just do that. Quartzite Crusher. Lifesteal, freeze any character damage by your hero. Deal 3 damage to your enemy and freeze it. Let's just go for that. But yeah, Cindergosa can almost be a hero herself and be like a mage or something. And, or like Malagos should be a mage hero. Why do I feel like there almost is one, but it's like a human Malagos? I don't even know, but Malagos, one of my favorite lore characters. I should do like a lore character tier list. Not that I know the lore super well from before. Like, you know, Warcraft 1 and 2 I still haven't played even. Some Warcraft fan I am, but I almost like to save stuff like that. Like, I don't want to, you know, I almost was saving it for some special day. But no, like anything Warcraft 3... WoW, and then even WoW I stopped like at Rats, so I wouldn't know too much of lore beyond that. what game would you rather have seen, Warcraft 4 or Half-Life 3? You know, probably Half-Life 3 because, you know, just that franchises had less to work with. At least with the WoW Warcraft universe, you have WoW, you have this, you have other things. But with Half-Life, you would have had nothing. Half-Life Alyx counts, obviously, but Deal 3, shuffle random plagues. It's fine for now. I mean, again, these people are going to be using a pretty shitty deck, so I think we're just farming on bots the whole time. But I'll take it. You know, you just got to pretend they're not a bot. Not that you know for sure, but like, kind of tell by the username, I suppose. Yeah, like that. What are these names? Pretty STX Ned. I mean, they could just be random fucking names, but I wish they were just more explicit about that. Like, just put bot in the whatever, make it more clear. Because anytime it seems like, oh, it's a bad player and you actually won, oh no, it must be a bot. Like, there's no way you could ever just win a game with whatever shitty decks I use or whatever shitty player that you are. I always want to see like an OTK deck where you just use the ghoul. You just summon a ghoul and then just give it 30 attack and just kill them. And it might seem crazy, but there probably is a way to do that. Especially in Wild. Deal 2, destroy a plague in your opponent's deck, deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. Perfect timing. How convenient. Again, that's the same homogenization criticism that you would see like with WoW over time. Like, oh, it went from characters are defined kind of in a classic RPG sense, but not by what they can do, but by what they can't do, what they're limited at. So, like, you could be a mage in vanilla WoW and glass cannon. Like, wow, you can palm pyro and one-shot people and do all these crazy things. So you're high risk, high reward, high damage, but you also can be killed very easily, even if you do have CC and little, you know, cooldowns to protect you. It at least makes sense. You can't heal, you can burn out quickly, run out of mana, stuff like that. So there's at least some logic behind it, where you have certain strengths and weaknesses, but over time it became, oh no, everybody can just do everything now. Mages will have heals, bloodthirst for warriors will be like god level. Like, sure, they had it, but it wasn't very good. Yes, 4 random spells. I don't know if I even like that too much. Also 2 after an enemy minion is frozen, destroy it. That voice isn't too bad, I guess, but freeze any character damage by this minion. Why don't we just save that one? Try to keep the board nice and clear for this. Like, how does that work? The wings are just separate entities. It's just silly how this whole colossal mechanic is. Yeah, she had like a very bitchy, bitter voice in WoW, because she was like just left to die, so it kind of makes sense, right? She's taking on the persona of how she was when she was dead, just completely felt like she was abandoned, left to die by her own people and everything. But that's why it's like a good reasoning for how you would be able to be turned. Ordinarily, she would have just died and it would have been fine. Well, I mean, she's still dead, but like, oh shit.
This cannot be
Yeah, that's fine. Plagues are just kind of in the background and I don't even really care about it. I did like Mograine, but I never used them in too optimal of a way. Or I was trying to do it the same way I do Iron Juggernaut with like the fucking Brewmaster. But there'd be times where you'd get it like 4 times and you'd be doing like 12 every turn. That's obviously in the ideal perfect circumstance, but you know what I mean? It's not always going to happen like that. Yeah, now they'll have Cindergosa's, you know, claw, her foot, whatever. Like, you know, what makes you just do the wings? Okay, that should be it. These matches seem almost a little bit too easy, even though I almost did lose in the one against the fucking druid. Or where I was the druid, where I got so low at least. But yeah, this is maybe a cheese time to do it at the beginning or at the end of the month. There's always like conflicting theories on that, like, oh, is it easier or harder at the beginning or end of the month? Like, because at the beginning, legend level players who are gonna get there are just not there yet because they just started playing, so they'll be at lower ranks, assuming the matchmaking is even good or accurate to that anymore. But they don't show you even your opponent's rank, so you wouldn't even know. But or is it harder at the end of the month where everybody's trying to try hard and catch up and, you know, make one last push? Static beam costs 1 less for each enemy minion. This card I don't even understand, the showdown. Like, you need some sort of buff to make it good. Your next holy spell costs 3 less, 2 less. Those are 3 different every class. Give it friendly minion +2/+2. Deal its attack to all other minions. Kind of cool. Draw a holy spell. Your next holy spell costs 2 less. Holy cowboy. Again, one of those other ones that I talk about, like how a lot of cards are defined by pun names, like Loan Shark in was that in Magic? Where did I just see that? Like it's a shark who's giving out a loan. Like, it's not, you could do it, but what's the point, you know? A lot of card design is informed just by that. Like, it's just, I don't know, like a generic interchangeable idea, but oh, you know, now all of a sudden in the lore too, Korin can become paladins because they're sunwalkers or whatever. Seems like we can go as far as we want. Like, I'll just get to legend with this if I had time. Fuck it, nobody seems to be able to stop Whizbang. Divine Shield, draw a holy spell, and I'm not even playing these probably optimally at all because I don't even know what I'm doing, or I don't even know what some of these cards are. Yeah, we certainly won't get to play as the other Whizbang, so I mean, I almost wanted to go until maybe I lose as this one. Not that I'm going to lose on purpose, of course. I'm going to 2/2 Earthen, the gains +2/+2 for... Okay, that's going to be a little bit too slow right now. Next holy spell you play costs 2 less. 1 cost... Summon 2 1 cost minion from deck, summon another. Oh, that again. Yeah, nobody can fucking stand up to Whizbang. But see, now if we do it next week, then we'll get destroyed on the first game, just because, again, it'll be a different kind of crowd that we're going against. This is almost too easy. You could literally get to legend, it feels like, by doing this, just because you're playing so late in the month. That's always what it would end up being anyway, not because I would strategically do that, but, like, you know, at least in that 2022 run, it's like I was only playing once a week and not for that long, so of course it would be by the end of the month that I would even have a chance to get to legend, just because I wouldn't have had time before that. It doesn't really even matter what you do with that. That's fine. Yeah, like some of these power creep cards are just too convenient. Just summon like a million, fill your whole board with those taunts, like the dragons. Just fuck it. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want the game. Just everything is just handed to you with no effort at all. Entitled, spoiled Gen Z card game players. Use a deck tracker so you don't have to use your brain and actually think about what cards could be or not be in your deck or their deck or whatever. Even though that's one of the core mechanics and functions of a card game that you would have to, you know, keep track of something like that. Oh no, I played right into his hands by, you know. Or the way that you could do it is like you, I don't know why I'm even doing it like that. You know, you'll end up trading all this shit in anyway. I guess if their board is full, right, that would be the main rationalization for it. Their board is full or you can immediately buff it in some meaningful way. Then I could understand. I mean, I'm not going to force Whizbang to lose if he's really doing this good. But they've both been good. I do like some of the fun, zany, impossible to create decks like the other Whizbang has. My main suggestion for this Whizbang, the Boomer one, is that it should be usable in Standard because that's the whole premise of it, that it's letting you use Standard deck recipes anyway. So why not just let you do that? Use a Standard deck in Standard, and you should still be able to use it in Wild too, but it's like, you know, let you try Standard decks in Standard just because that's the whole point of the card. And then the Zoomer Whizbang, I just said some of the ideas like having two copies of every legendary and this and that. The ones like that at least should be for every single class. It shouldn't just be for the one random one that they chose. Like, you can only do that as Hunter or whatever, right? The real point being that you get to, some of them make sense that they're limited. Like, oh, you have 20 cards, like the Warlock one, so you're trying to get, I mean, you could still do it, but a lot of them, it feels like are pretty interchangeable where you could do it as any class. Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Minion with taunt is in the way.
I mean, they don't have fucking jack shit anyway, but somehow, even as good as these decks have been doing, I'm playing them probably so suboptimally that it makes it seem like an even match against even, you know, what are pretty shitty decks. So if I did lose to any of these, it would actually be pretty embarrassing, honestly.
Trust the pirates.
Yeah, none of these decks I've gone against seem very good, or maybe that Priest, where nobody's emoting at me. That's the one way you can always prove that they're not a bot, because a bot wouldn't just randomly emote or say well played or something. They don't have any manners, even though, you know, they easily could program them to do that.
The light dims, but we fight.
Clearly, ignoring the board couldn't be my own demise, but just doesn't seem like they're gonna have anything at all. Maybe Whizbang will survive, so I'll end up doing it all of May. Not because, well, partly because he's impressive, but partly because just these episodes are always so short and I don't have the energy, honestly. Even if I had the time, I don't have the energy. Even if I have the time, I won't have the... Or even if I have the energy, I won't have the time. I'm too tired to even say it. Like, there's always something, you know, it is what it is. I just always think I'm gonna start earlier, and then I get caught up doing stuff, and then I never get to. But then I'm super tired when I'm streaming. Alright, so you win that one, and so you basically get to go on a pretty crazy streak. On a roll, tier 8. Fucking literally gonna speed run to legend again. One deck ladder speedrunner, but in this case that one deck is very variable because you get to basically, I don't know, maybe it'd be more suited to see, you know, this one could just cheese it all the way, right? It'd be more suited to see next time, like, okay, maybe it'll be more competitive. We'll continue as this one until it loses, then he'll get one shot as well, and whenever that ends we'll start with the shaman, including that thirst trap clown Nerzul one.